The next question is from Anna Rao and would go to Mr. Fellows.
Mr. Fellows, polling by Gallup and the Pew Research Center, among others, shows a strong majority of Americans support raising the federal minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10 per hour. Do you believe the minimum wage should be increased, and why or why not?
Well, it gets to be kind of a complicated question in some cases because, it's nice to say that we all support our friends and neighbors having increased minimum wage. I've been on the board of directors for a local union in Missoula, and sometimes you don't look at the consequences, because when we raise the minimum wage, obviously the cost of businesses go up as well. And so if you're willing to pay $25 for a hamburger at McDonald's, then maybe they're going to be willing to pay their employees $15 to $20 an hour. But there are consequences. Bill Gates has talked about consequences of raising the minimum wage, because once you start raising minimum wage, then businesses are going to find other ways to replace employees with technology. McDonald's is now doing this now in Europe, where they're replacing the person at the front counter with touchscreens. So you can order a touchscreen, swipe your credit card. Applebee's is doing this. You see people in stores like JCPenney's now, I guess they're using iPads, so you can go down, you can get what you want, have the employee swipe your card, buy it on the spot. Those are the kinds of things that eliminate people. And so, we've got to look at the consequences of raising the minimum wage in that context.
Your answer, Mr. Lewis?
I do support it, and here's why. As you travel across the state of Montana, many folks are working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. And 2/3 of those that make minimum wage in this country are women. And so, look, we need to support small businesses in this state, and the good news is most small businesses in Montana offer above the minimum wage. And studies show that when you increase workers' take-home pay, they spend it in the economy, the local economy. Someone goes down to Bob Ward's and buys another fishing pole or a four-wheeler. And so, absolutely, I support it because we need a living wage in this country.
Your answer, Mr. Zinke?
Well, I'm against it. I guess that's a pretty clear contrast. And it's because, at the end, it hurts the people that need it the most. Because minimum wage, and I've toured around Montana a lot. It's 500 homeless high school kids in Montana. I'm sorry, in Billings alone. 500 homeless high school kids in Billings. Billings is the #1 economy in the state. So why? Because you're right, John. It is about jobs. But the statistics and the facts will show that minimum wage hurts those that need it the most. And Washington is not going to solve our problems. If we want a minimum wage in Montana, let Montanans talk about it. But I don't want Washington making a decision about minimum wage, what it should be in Montana. At the heart of the issue is making better jobs in Montana. Service industry jobs, we talk about Medicare, Medicaid, and all this, the public subsidy going to those that need it the most. You know why? Because Montana's poor. We're 49th out of 50. And a lot of because of the jobs are service industry jobs. We need a greater diversity of jobs. We need job growth in the technology side. We need job growth in the union side, non-union side. We need job growth where the prosperous economy can make it, where all of us can prosper. So minimum wage, I don't think it does any good. I think it hurts.
Mr. Fellows, your response?
Well, I think another way certainly to bring more wages to people would be to have a smaller government, because obviously we're paying so much in taxes. If you had an extra $2,000 a year because you were paying less in taxes, what would you spend that money on? I know in Missoula, we keep upping the taxes on people's properties, and to the fact that it's getting really more of a high place to live. And so the average middle class person can't live in Missoula because of some of these higher taxes. And so if we shrunk government and kept it, just funded the essential government services, we could certainly cut our taxes. That'd give us more spending income. And then we wouldn't have to work 2 jobs just to pay the taxes, just to pay the mortgage and to pay the government.
Mr. Lewis, a response?
Look, I'm for increasing pay for working people here in Montana. And I come back to what I said. Many folks in Montana are working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. And so I can't see why not increasing pay for working families like that isn't going to help them in their lives, and they will spend that money in the economy in Montana. So I support it.
Thank you. And Mr. Zinke, your response.
Well, a lot of people are doing 2 or 3 jobs. You know, try to find a 40-hour worker if you're a single mom with benefits in Montana. You know, why? Isn't it because the small business doesn't like to pay a great wage? Because they can't afford to. Because the compliance measures are out of control. So again, does increasing the minimum wage, is that going to fix the problem? No. We need a more diverse economy, a better economy. We need to focus on what Montana can do well. We can manufacture. We can use our resources. We can get in the woods again and log. We can be an energy exporter. We can be value added in our commodities. You know, beef prices are good. I was in Miles City last night. The cattlemen are pretty happy, but they're really worried about the water. They're really worried about government oversight on things that matter to them. So it's a bigger question than minimum wage is how to get good jobs in Montana so we don't need to be at the bottom.